Hello, this is a great pleasure once again to welcome you to another super session of your special program, People, Events, and Places on TV, PEP TV for short, with your man about town. Freddie Wenjora is my name. I tour Nigeria to bring you good things, make you see good places, and then take you along to events. I have a special guest as usual, so special.
I agree.
This man is the high priest. Amayo Uzo Philips, Nollywood top director, award-winning director. He has done several. I don't know whether you know, but let's begin to count. He became too popular for Aki Pawpaw. He saw these two people embrace themselves somewhere and decided that this could make a great scene, and he created Aki Pawpaw, a story of two urchins that were causing trouble in the area. High priest, I'd like to welcome you to PEP TV.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
I'm happy to be on PEP TV. Like you said, my name is Amayo Uzo Philips, and I'm a movie director, a filmmaker, I'm a scriptwriter, and a producer. And I have known Mr. Iwenjora for so long. In fact, we are just like schoolmates.
Even though you're senior, we know our seniors. We know our seniors. Great Josite, yes.
Yes, went to University of Jos, read theater arts there. Came out in 1984. I went to Lagos to have my youth service serve the nation for 1 year, and got stuck in Lagos. Practicing at the National Theatre as a freelance. Jolly as an actor, and so on and so forth, until Nollywood came and we got on the line. But then I have been there practicing the arts for a long time, having written my first script for stage in 1978, produced it on the stage for secondary school.
Which school was that?
Okenalo Secondary School in Obo. Because I worked there as briefly as a loan assistant to World Bank Oil Palm Project. And so
that was after high school?
That was after my secondary school. And then it was from there that I went to the university in 1980 and all that. So I've been in the practice for a long time before Nollywood now came. When I got to the university, I went into the television. I was involved in some of the national programs then, like Kokro Adon. I was in Kokro Adon as an actor. Played a minor in that place. I was in Caravan of Life, and I was in Sounds of Destiny. In fact, Sounds of Destiny took over from
Mirror in the Sun?
Not Mirror in the Sun. Kokro took over from Kokro Adon, and it was produced, directed by the ace broadcaster Mike Enahoro, the late Mike Enahoro, and I worked with him. I played a major role in that series. Eventually, I had to leave Lagos in 1987. Went back to Imo State. Went into poultry business, and I was in poultry business for 10 years. Raising and rearing chickens and making eggs. And I prospered in it. I was able to get 1,500 layers. That was giving me about 50 crates of eggs every day. But then, egg was 1 crate, 30 naira.
Yeah, but it was still money at the time.
Yes, it was. So after the 10 years, I had to now run back to Lagos because the theater bug couldn't allow me to stay away from Nollywood. So I now ran back to Lagos. I went into Nollywood again, and from there, after a while, in 1998, I came down to Enugu when I came to organize and shoot for King Jaja of Opobo. We shot King Jaja of Opobo, partly in Enugu and finally in Okreka in Rivers State.
What happened to that film? Was it ever released?
It wasn't released. It wasn't released. A lot of things happened. I don't want to talk about it now because a lot of politics went into that thing, and being a pioneering film for that sponsor that time, a lot of things did not work well. There was no budget for the film. Initially, there was no budget for the film, and the guy was just spending money like that, and they didn't tell him anything about budgets. They told him you can use 4 million to shoot it then, but the guy shot 20% of that movie with 8 million,
and it wasn't completed then.
It wasn't 20% with 8 million.
Only 20%.
Only 20%.
What's the man's name? Is he still there?
We call him Nelly. He was a lawyer. Went to University of Jos with me. He studied law, and I studied theater arts. He was my junior in the university. So I now told him that we need to call off and go and write a proper budget for the remaining 80%. And by the time we wrote a proper budget, it was 1.5 million for 80% that has not been shot. So we now went to Okreka, and that was where we shot what remained, and a lot of stories followed it, and it didn't work. So when I now finished that thing, I got stuck in Enugu. Something told me, don't go back. Even then, a lot of movies were not coming. In fact, the movie that was here, shooting there then, was Out of Cage.
Out of Cage, okay.
Out of Cage. And so I sat down here. I didn't go back. I now joined Zebudaya, Chikopala and his group, Zebudaya, and I was writing scripts for them. And when they have a stage performance, I'll join them. And bros, I suffered here.
So what brought you back to Lagos again? Because I remember you came back.
I didn't go back to Lagos.
Okay, so whenever you were in Lagos was visit?
Yes, I was coming to visit and all that. So I stayed back here, and suddenly films now started coming. And when I came, I joined. It was all about blood money, blood rituals, money rituals, all these things. Those KOK them thing. But I wanted a change. I wanted to shift. I wanted a shift. So I started writing comedies. Started doing comedy scripts and throwing at the marketers, and they were throwing the things back at you. back at me. They said, Amayo, this thing will not work. Nobody is going to watch comedy. So I said, okay. But I didn't give up until now. One of them now met me and said, Kasvid, the late Kasvid, said, can you do a story like Problem Child or Home Alone for me? I said, yes. So I went and did what they call Akenokwa finally, but my initial title was The Dwarfs. And the story of that Akenokwa was my story, my real life, true life story, the way I lived during the war when I was 10, 12. During the war in Southeast, in my Olu town in Okporo, everything I did with my peers was what I wrote down in Akenokwa. I didn't even write up to 1/4 of that. And so the Kasvi didn't know my story, and he never believed in the comedy. So when I gave him this script, he was like, okay, let's do this. How much are you going to use? I said, well, 950,000. But he was already used to about 2.53 million naira projects. So he went to the bank, brought the 950 for me, and went out and was telling people, Amayo gave me a budget. I don't know how he's going to use that money to shoot. It was a case of, I've given you, go and kill yourself. Whatever you do is your problem. So Akenokwa didn't have stars. The only star who was not completely a star was Amechi Monago. The rest of the characters in Akenokwa were all greenhorns. I brought all of them, and I created those special branded characters. All of them. Aki and Pawpaw, Dokas, Miss Koi Koi, all of them. I created all of those things. And we shot it. I shot that movie 2.5 days in Enugu here. Shot it with 750,000. Paid everybody well. And that was where I got Aki and Pawpaw together.
Yeah, let's go back to that story. You told me before how you met them, how you saw them meet themselves for the first time. Can you recount for me?
What happened actually was that, Chinedu was already in Enugu at IMT, so he was with us in Nollywood, but he wasn't getting kiddies roles like that. I think the highest he played was Last Burial Part 2, which was written by me. And when I was writing that script, he came to me and said, Oga, write plenty. I don't get these roles. So I now wrote plenty scenes for him in that. Then when I now wrote Akinokwa, I now started looking for him. Then he got frustrated and was now following Lancelot in Maswell, and I said, continue to his secretary, not as an actor. So I now started looking. I looked for him for 2 weeks and dropping messages until he saw my messages and came. And then I sent my associate producer to Aba, where OC was. My associate producer was Ismail Amomo. I sent him to Aba, where OC was. OC was not very active in Nollywood then. And he went and brought him. And I brought two of them together for the first time in the movie industry. And then that night, as I was negotiating with them, I was watching them, their reactions and their body languages.
They hadn't met before, maybe.
No, they were not. They did. I don't think so, because this guy was not with us. OC, yes. So, but they were like, Chinedu was like,
my brother.
I never get role. They come bring somebody maybe like me now, And OC was like as a boy now. Who is this one that is doing big boy for me? So I was just watching them, folding after everything, I put the two of them in one room. And that was how their friendship started. Before we started shooting the following day,
they already together.
They are bonding already. And that was how. And how much did I pay them? I paid this one 20,000. I paid the other one 15K.
Because maybe why?
Because this Chinedu was with us already, and this one was just coming. So, and after that, we shot that movie, and this guy came and took it. And because he did not believe in the movie, he did not release it on his label. He didn't release it on Casvid. He released it on Soft Touch.
Another of his subsidiary, maybe.
I don't know who has Soft Touch. So that movie, I now started shooting. I've done it. I forgot it. I started shooting another one, Happy and Way, and I paid those.
With them?
Yes, I paid those boys. Happy and Way was 50,000 each. I did another one, Kakinobi Leather. I paid them 130 or 150,000 each.
Was it for who now? Happy and Way was for who now?
Happy and Way was for. I can't remember even who I made.
Did they believe the person now believed in what you did before? Or?
They did not believe it. Just that there's a new brand of John that has come, and Amayo is doing it well. So all of them were coming like that, small. But Kakinobi Leather was for Zelex.
Okay.
Zelex's son. I did that. I paid them 150 or 130. And then the fourth one I did with them was the Holy One for Great Movies. I paid them more than 500,000 each.
So it was.
That was where they down exploded and marketed. Before that time now, Akinokwa was released, and the wave was so much everywhere. Aki Pawpaw, everywhere. They used to stay in the bus with us, location bus. One of them, I went there to Ababa to shoot with them, brought them down from the bus. The crowd couldn't allow me to shoot. I had to hire thugs to beat back the crowd, but then the thugs couldn't succeed, so I had to put them back. And as I was going with them, I was crying.
You created.
I was crying, and I said, so now me they cause this wahala. So my back was big, and I was saying, so now me they cause this tear now, and that was it too, and that was my breakthrough too in Nollywood. So from there I started. Marketers came after me, and that was how I broke through, and they also broke through because it was Akinokwa everywhere. It was Aki Pawpaw everywhere, So and Since then, it's been a wonderful thing with me. I'm still here, very relevant. Unlike some of the guys who came with me, they are no more here directing. Some of them that came after me, they are no more here. But I'm still relevant. I'm still here because I think I have something that trends. I'm everywhere. A lot of people think Amayo can only do comedy. No, but I do comedy, I do traditional movies, and I do glamour. Like the last one I did for Images was a love story, the love pranks. No, it's not a comedy, But the thing is that I have greater challenges when I do comedies because comedy is hard.
You make somebody to laugh.
For you to make somebody to laugh, you have to be comic yourself, and you have to bring every action to the eyes of the viewer. You understand? So, and they also epic stories, traditional stories. They are challenging too because of crowd. A lot of directors don't want to handle crowds, and they don't know how to handle crowds, so they run away from that. But I love crowds. When I see crowd, I'm very, very happy.
So you announce to them, everybody will please.
Yes. Well, now is that I'm trying to change the pattern of comedy, the pattern of epic stories. I want to do family epic stories, just like we do in our glamour. You can do a story of about 10 characters in epic, and it will come out beautifully. That's one I have written now that I want to do for Onyeze production. The characters there are not more than 12.
So what do you think is the secret of your longevity in this field you studied with your eyes wide open?
Oh, well,